Fathia, welcome to Morning Vibes.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
It's your first time on radio?
First time, yes.
Hey, lakini unakaa tu comfortable. Unakuanga KTN nini news? How long have you been on TV?
Roughly 5 to 6 years. But I was at the BBC before coming to KTN News, but I was also at KTN before going to BBC.
So umekuwa tu kifanya ping pong?
Yes.
Okay. You know, in this industry kuna transfer season, transfer windows and everything. Inakuwa to the same.
Lakini inakuanga transfer window kawa ni mu iconic.
That's the other thing. Thing.
Kasi sisi wenye tunakaa tu the same spot.
Kuna the Ronaldos of the media. Kuna the Haalands.
Alafu kuna the Skulls.
Alafu kuna sasa kina Maguire.
Kuna kina Giggs na Skulls, alafu kuna kina Maguire.
But so Fathia, let me ask you, since we make a game, you know, for some time,
right?
What's the biggest fake news ama misinformation umesikia ukasema guy tulichezwa?
Right now or generally?
Ever
in your career?
The one that you looked and you said, how are people falling for this?
Wow, that's interesting. I think a lot of the times it's just when pictures are just sort of placed on someone else's face and you're thinking, how, or the information that's coming out of there, it's not legit. So there's something that has come up nowadays that's called deepfake. I don't know if you guys have heard about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But for our listeners, explain to them what deepfake is.
So deepfake basically
alafu Fathia unajua Swahili mazee. Unajua tunaongea the nation. Address the nation in the language of
Swahili.
Yeah, mazee.
So deepfake basically it's when you take someone's face or voice and you sort of just juxtapose or like you put it on someone's face, another person. So for instance, right now Combox, I can take your voice and put my face on it. Yeah. So it would be Fathia talking as Combox. But it's really not it. A lot of the time inatumia a lot of machine learning and people now use that as fake news and send it around.
Yeah.
So that's something that really happens.
Imekuwa shida sana.
Yes.
Now, I mean, I've seen most of these deepfakes. Niliona ingine ya Zelensky akibonga nikasema hii president wa Ukraine nikasema you know, I know better than that. Umeona wacha nikwambie the first kama umekaa nyumbani una try understand history yenye Fathia ametupatia. Think of, I'm sure umeingia TikTok, I'm sure umeingia Twitter, umeingia hapo Facebook ukapata rawa kusema laia laia.
It's actually very
hiyo ni deepfake.
I love that video.
Entertaining.
Na hiyo ndio the basic version of deepfake. Sasa imagine hiyo same app ikichukua ka unaweza fanya rao na Uhuru afanye naye. Kwa unaweza fanya hivyo. Sasa imagine unaweza fanya unye ama rao. Upate tu video yake hapo akisema Kenya tunahama. You understand? Msiameka hapo sauti yake. Kwa sababu kuna watu wengi wanaweza imitate sauti yake na pia unaweza chukua hiyo sauti yake uweke exact.
Nilicheki moja ya Obama a fake one walikuwa anasema ati ana castigate Museveni during the elections. Ile hiyo beef yake na Biden.
Na ilikuwa fake. Bobby Wine.
Some, you know, we castigate the president of Uganda. In turns out it was fake. BBC actually clarified. Guys, this is fake.
Yeah, the thing with such disinformation or deepfake, it create a certain emotion where people feel angry, and then now that becomes violent at some point. So a lot of the times, so kuna misinformation or kuna disinformation. Yeah. Misinformation sometimes in a mislead too, and it's not factual. But disinformation is so deliberate. It's just with intent to create harm, to make sure that it causes some certain, you know, emotion out there. And a lot of the times it's not good. So with deepfake, that's what it happens a lot of the times. It affects people in that kind of way.
Tukiangalia gazeti leo, nimetoka kuambia hapo wase kwa MVP report. Na guys, kama unataka kujoin the conversation, we're streaming live on Facebook. We are at Vibes Radio KE. Unaweza acha comment hapo pia on Twitter #Combox and Kev. Na najua maboy wangu wako hapo kucheck ni nini ma comments hapo.
Tutacheki fake news.
Thank you so much. Sasa kwa gazeti leo wanaongea juu ya 9 students from Moy University ambao walikuwa na, kwa sababu not every fake news ama disinformation or misinformation na kuanga tu online. Ingine iko physical. So tumesikia hizi stories za hizi leaflets zenye zina distributiwa in spaces na wanasema 9 students from Moy University wameshikwa for allegedly distributing this information in their WhatsApp groups. Hizo leaflets. Is that disinformation or misinformation?
That is now disinformation, because you see now it's intentional. It's hate that they're sending around because they want a certain emotion talking. You see a lot of the times, like you're saying, physical. Inaweza kuwa a rumor, for instance. A rumor is misinformation or is disinformation in itself because it's trying to cause harm to someone. Let me give an example. So few years ago, I had gone to Ethiopia to cover a story. It was about 2 doctors who were killed in a small village. Now what happened, there was a rumor that was going around apparently inasema these doctors wamekuja hapo, they just want to sterilize our girls, they wasipate watoto nini nini. Now wamekuja tu kufanya research on polio. So they were attacked by a mob and they were killed.
Imagine.
Only one person survived. But you see, that's the impact of that rumor, vile ili fly. It caused 2 people to just die like that. So the impact is very big, actually.
And, you know, there's so much, guys, wacha niwaambie tu kweli. On the internet, chances are, and Fathiya, you'll share with us what exactly the data is, because it's in a sim, especially space of social media, that for every one piece of real news you meet, there's like 100 fake stories. What is the actual data in terms of on socials? Because I also saw a report wanasema TikTok saying the space of spreading disinformation.
Yes, there's a report in Eldoret just, I think, early in June by Mozilla, and it was saying that TikTok is actually what is spreading disinformation and using gaslighting. Basically, you see on TikTok, bado they're trying to come up with ways to combat misinformation. So unacheki mtu ana post video, something that happened few years ago, or let's say in 2007 during the post-election violence, and then anasema, if you don't vote for a certain candidate, this is what is actually going to happen.
Can you imagine?
So you see that already create a sense of, like, someone becomes angry very fast. Unakasirika, unasema ala, so if I don't vote for this candidate, is this what's going to happen to me? So that has really been happening on TikTok especially. Okay, so they've said that they're now coming up with different ways to combat this whole thing. Now TikTok. You can actually TikTok, so you can report. There's where you report usually on like socials. There's a report if it's a misinformation thing, but it wasn't there before. But it's something that they're now trying to come up with.
So in terms of audience though, what wanna consume content, which people are likely to consume fake news in terms of age, demographics, or from your research?
Can I just guess? The aunties and the mums.
Hey, kwanza on WhatsApp.
What?
The
aunties and the mums.
They forward, especially like, I'll give you an example. Like even my mom, she'll send me ridiculous things, and she wants me to believe in it.
But why is why are they so what's the word? Why are they easily consuming fake news? Why is it so believable to them mostly?
Kevin, leo ni kizungu umetaka kukoroga.
Bana nimesoma bana.
Lakini tukoroge. Kwani ukusoma Kiswahili? Hebu ulize hiyo swali. Focus.
But unajua sasa, for instance, there's a way the message usually it's crafted. There's a way inaandikwa. Especially if it's, let's say, sent through WhatsApp, and it makes, like, it appeals to people in the older generation.
Really?
Especially like on WhatsApp, if you don't do a certain thing, this is going to happen to your child, or in 2050 this is going to happen. So in appeal to that emotion of like a mom, anafikiria, okay, if I don't do this for my kid, itamu affective, so let me send it to them.
Because I was thinking maybe the older people ndo sasa akona time ya kuchambua seme kitambo, I remember Moi was not like this, ama Kenyatta akona time ya kuchambua hizo facts.
Nani akona time ya kuchambua?
No, because when nikitoka hata nikibonga na babangu and I ask him, nambe, hey daddy, jo umechikia stuff ilikuwa na trend, and what is this, Kevin? Ati they're talking about which community was affected. So him, the way I know him, atasema actually I remember in 1999, so nilikuwa na imagine aundo maybe watachambua icon. So it's not really true, it's them who are victimized.
They're the ones who are victimized, but that angle is also true at the same time, ukiangalia, because like I said, there's a way that message inacraftiwa, unafikiria enyewe I actually experienced this back in the day. So this can actually happen to my kid. Now let's talk about, for instance, now TikTok. TikTok, a lot of the people who use are young people between the ages of 16 to 24. So they're the ones consuming that news. So again, on TikTok, mtu anaweka just a random account, nini, na iweke, I post, and then a young person akiona hiyo story atasema, enyewe hiyo kitu ni ukweli. So now during the elections, that political misinformation and hate speech is spread through that.
Now, I want to bring another angle, but before we do, nataka kusikia kutoka kama MVP, kwa sababu hii ni mjadala. Na Fathiya hapa ametuambia, watu hapa muna fall for fake information. But Fathiya, before I open the phone lines, and we bring the other angle, which is language barrier on some of these platforms, which is exacerbating situation, hate speech, nezima disinformation, and how the app is not able to pick this information. Mtu anajuaje akona fake news? And I want to just give a backstory. So tumeongea juu ya vinyo wazae maze, ma aunties na ma uncles wakiangalia hiyo nini, Kevin ameuliza, how do they fall for this? Because unaangalia story unasema, bro, sis, stop it. But ni your heartstrings. I want to take it back to, it's not just social media. Unapata message imeambia mtoto ameanguka kwa ameumwa na nyoka, tuma 500. Immediately, two things ita happen. Let's imagine two people wamepata hiyo message. Moja hana mtoi, mwingine ako na mtoi. Haya. Huyo mwenye hana mtoi, of course atangalia message asema, wacha ufala. Lakini ule mwenye ako na mtoi,
oh my god,
automatically hata fikiria juu ya could this be fake? Automatically kichwa yake iko mtoi atadedi kwa sababu ameumwa na nyoka. Right? Where am I? Oh my god, someone is helping me. You know, so you want to finance that person asaidie mtoto, and then you now come to ask questions later.
That's right.
You understand? So that's how so basically that's the first tip nakupatia. Message ya kukukon ama ya kukupatia disinformation. It will only work because 100 people can see misinformation, and only the ones when you wako na idea, yani wako maybe connected to this story, ndio watafall for the trap. So for example, wakiandika ati Wasingishu something nini. Who are the highest people likely to fall for that message?
The residents.
The people from that area.
Yes,
right?
Completely.
So from that said, hiyo inamaanisha hiyo information wanajua what to tell you for you to fall into the trap. Sindio? Na hapa tuko na mjadala kwa public opinion. Tunafungua phone line in a bit because we're talking about misinformation, and especially during an election. Na venye tunacheza hapo social media tunacheza kama sisi. We must know what is what could be potentially harmful, and there are people out there when you wanna try cause vurugu. Kwanza ule mwenye alitry kuhack account yangu.
Umesema na emotions. She has close to 1 million followers.
Kwanza mande siku kona. As in uchali usimsikize. Unajua huyu alisoma Uganda. 42,000, you round it off to the nearest million.
You know, I really don't like how Sheila, you know, Udem, she really another raw UG sana. I'll tell you some facts. And this is not fake news. Nilisoma UG. I promise. Let me give you some facts. Some of the brilliant minds in our country, including the Deputy President William Ruto, has affiliation with Makerere University.
Well, I heard they have the best English, but the accent though.
It's not about accent. It's about information, not accent. You know, Kenyans were so excited about accents.
But also don't listen to him too hard, because apparently some politicians give us misinformation about their degrees from Uganda.
You know,
I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling you what it is. So leo tunaongea juu ya misinformation. Na tumesikia hapo social media mazi hapo ndio ziucheza kama wao, right? So our journalist FATHIYA NUR from KTN News amekuja hapa kutuambia how we can be able to identify and what is the data out there about fake news. So nimekuuliza, ushai encounter fake news na ulijuaje ni fake news kwa social media? Cheza kama wewe. How can you identify a fake story? Ama unaona story hapo unasema hii it must be fake.
And as the MVPs wakitupigia simu, I just want to ask you another question that you have. Quick. Unadhani election itashindwa hapo hivyo social media? Social media, your information iko hapo hivyo, does it really play a huge role in influencing how people are voting?
All right, hold that thought.
Answer that.
Styles and Cavs anasema, I was among the first people who got mpenzi wako akona nia mbaya na maisha yako. Allah. My son of man almost got left. As in, chali yake alitumia hiyo message, chali kalibua muache. Right? Hiyo fake propaganda. Let's hear from Mkamba. Anapiga hapa very hectically. Mkamba.
Boza.
Uko poa?
Uko poa kabisa?
Ushapata fake news hapo social media?
Kama ingine nilikuwa nimepata imeandikwa ati ndege ilipoteana miaka fulani na ikarudi tena.
Ndege?
Na ikarudi na wale watu tu.
Hiyo si ni movie. Hiyo inaitwa checklist. Inaitwa iko Netflix.
Kuna ingine janga jina zimuliwa. Kuna simulizi fulani hivyo.
Ati ndege ilikuwa imepotea kwa angani, ili take off alafu ikapotea.
Then karudi tena hapa
No, I don't think ilirudi walipata parts zake.
Hii ni story ya Mkamba.
Kama hiyo mimi niona mdiongo.
There's a whole movie on Netflix.
But there's a plane that actually
Manifest.
But there's a plane ilipotea. Remember there was
ngoja.
Vingine ndio nini unasikia mtu picha na picha yule hapo akisema ati because Ukraine inaenda kupigana vita hivyo ni bamba yikaje hizo vitu.
Ati mtu amekwambia anaenda Ukraine kupigana vita?
amepiga picha mtu mwingine lakini kichwa hapa mbele ameweka yeye ama mtu kama ruko hizo, unaona?
Okay, all right. So ukajua hiyo ni fake.
Alafu ile ni fake. Alafu pengine unaona ile story nilikuwa mnaongelea saa moja.
Gani hiyo?
Pia mambo na process mimi ningesema
Sema bro. Tunakusikiza ongea.
Unyasi fanya tupigane bure. Hakuna haja. Usiona president mwenye anatoka kwa kiti akasapoti mtu mwingine.
Okay. Wrong session. Pole sana. And also that's not the information we give. Tulisema president alipatiana nini? Leo tumeongea president kweli?
No,
yeah, so hiyo ni misinformation. Bobby.
Hello.
Wagwan.
Wagwan.
Ushaipata fake or misinformation on the internet na ukaidentify?
Bana zile maenzi nilikuwa smart. Zilikuwa napata na mdemo hapo.
All right. I think we're just going to continue. If you want to call us up, 0719-012-700. How does someone identify fake news on the internet? Hiyo ndio the big issue. And I'm sure platform size in a struggle. If you can, hit us up kwa hiyo hashtag kwa Mbox and Kev, tuambie, wewe kama Mkenya, wewe na hiyo simu yako, unajuaje hiyo information yenye kwa hapo WhatsApp ni real? Hiyo yenye kwa hapo kwa Twitter, mseme amekutumia, labda amekuforwardia kitu.
Yeah.
Amesema, Kenya inachomeka. Unajuaje hiyo information ni real ama ni fake? Do you even take time to find out kama ukabreathe kidogo ukasema mbona sijasikia hii story pale
And
pengine?
that's the thing about any news that you get. You have to pause, stop, think, okay, so is this really true?
Yeah.
A lot of the times when information is put out there, na ukianza kuishuku kidogo, it looks too good to be true, then trust your instincts.
Too good to be true.
Too good to be true.
Na Wakenya wengi wanapatikana hiyo kwa hiyo too good to be true. Unaambiwa umeshinda 1 million.
Yes.
Na hujaingia kitu yoyote, haujaicheza kitu yoyote, na unatuma hapo 5k.
Wake up ID number tuma 5,000.
As in,
it's crazy. By the way, so I remember earlier alikuwa nakuuliza, ukiangalia information yote kwa social media especially. And we've heard how last week Sheila ilikuwa nimecheki gazeti ilikuwa imeweka figures about how these coalitions are actually spending so much money on the social media agencies.
Yes.
To promote their agendas, which includes propaganda.
It is all propaganda.
How powerful is this information, and do you think it's actually going to influence vile wase watavote?
Unfortunately,
the fake news and the real news.
Unfortunately, it's not so easy and I think it's something that especially that we see on Twitter, where someone sees information, have created twice, and you believe in it immediately. But like you had said, there are reports that there are certain politicians who pay specific people to spew that misinformation. Wanayeka out there anasema, this is what's happening, even though Vilanani amesema ni.
They pay them big budget,
Exactly.
Big money,
Big money, and you run with it.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because one thing we have noticed on socials is that, and everybody will attest, I'm sure there's someone you follow on social media who, if they say something, then
exactly.
You know what I mean? If FATHIYA posts and says, because I know her from KTN News, I see her on her Twitter, post amesema, guys, they're trying to rig the election. Or guys, the sky is going to be yellow tomorrow because of a phenomenon called yellow moon.
Yellow elections.
And it only happens every 100 years,
exactly,
right? I'm going to buy into that because I see FATHIYA on KTN News. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what we're saying is that there are some of these people who potential harmful content, owners of harmful content. Say for example, if it's fake news, ama politician anataka watu wapigane, anajua nikichukua FATHIYA a post watamwamini, so nitamlipa FATHIYA whatever her price is. And we've seen even top people who we have such respect for, who are spewing propaganda like crazy.
Mad. And that's the thing. Even if you trust that specific person, you really need to go back kuangalia background yake anafanya nini sahi. Because, for instance, if you're a journalist, you need to be factual. Unafaa kuwa accurate in the information that you're giving. And so, if you're the one who's spewing that disinformation, then it removes you from that particular role in your amekupatia as a journalist, you know. So it's very important that you also check the source or the author mwenye ameka hiyo information out there.
Why is it that our guys wako na followers wengi sana, like especially influencers wa Twitter?
Nimeona hata professor.
People have close to 1 million followers, more than journalists, some journalists. Why is it that we have humans, Kenyans, who prefer to get information from influencers rather than a journalist, a professional. Amesoma yani anataka kuna facts.
Lakini hata tuseme kweli hata majournalist wengine wameuza. Sasa Kenya tunaona ni nikikuwa na 1 million followers. Hiyo si nika estate.
Yeah.
That's an estate. Right? Ninaweza cheza kama mimi na hiyo 1 million followers niuzie huyu nimwambie wewe fanya hivi. Unaweza tumia our followers naweza wa influence na sera zako. So when nilipe. And that's from where I'm sitting, this is what is happening. Is this what's happening?
It's true, because at the same time you see, if you have big numbers and there are a lot of people who are following you, that means you have a certain influence. So if you decide kucheza in your own way, unataka ku mislead people, you can easily do that. So it's very tricky a lot of the times, honestly.
No, but it's like, but why is it that the people, why is it that they don't longer trust the news? It's almost like wanaona kitu ni fake, say they have their own agenda. Media people wako tu, they're not believable anymore. They're media, all this.
Unfortunately, there's that perception.
Ni perception.
At the same time though, watu wenye wako na that huge following, for instance, they're the ones who would put out information like, don't trust this particular leaders, don't do this. So mtu anayamini straight from there. Again, I think even as Kenyans, or just generally as human beings, tunapenda kuamini udaku saa zingine wa story yenye haiko. So that's more interesting. Something that's controversial, you want to listen to it more, other than something that's very serious.
That's actually true.
Now, with that era of misinformation, one thing that's coming out clearly is that when real information does come out, it is also now there's doubt in that. Right?
Yes.
So, for example, tuliona time ya COVID, misinformation was being believed more than the actual information. So tumewachwa na nini? Kama journalists, perception ni hawezi trustiwa. Governments perception ni haiwezi trustiwa. Even if a government inafanya the right thing, mse anakuja hapa na spew anasema, ABCD inafanyika. Then you have the people now who are left are these ones who are now creating the propaganda. How then can we as citizens protect ourselves from all this propaganda? Because if we can't trust some quarters of the media, or rather, if it's not we can't trust, we have to take with a pinch of salt. Then we also, from politicians or the people that we trust. I mean, guys, there's a professor who I used to like everything that this man professes. Until this election. Now I blocked the guy. I blocked him. I'm just like,
why did you block him though? Like,
because unajosele what's the word I'm looking for? Not degenerate, but degrade. Yani umeleta everything down to mfuko yako na tumbo yako. And you're ready to propaganda and watu wengine. I was like, nah, son.
But
forget about it. Whatever smart things you had in your head, you can keep them.
What do you have to say?
I think sometimes, honestly, the responsibility gets down to you. It's up to you as a person first to take what you want to believe in. Because says you kuja ni convince. If I have tried to actually tell you this is true and you don't believe me, it's up to you at the end of the day. It's for you to stop, pause, take a look at that information and see, ala ikono kweli ina gani hapa. So it comes down to you as a person.
Lakini kama unajua sasa, kama for example tusemeka hii time ya election, ama tuseme tu time yote kama hiyo story ya it's somewhere where maybe niko mashinani, sina place ya ku confirm hii story. So mimi nikisoma hii alafu nikiona na siku hizi kwanza hizo ma fake stories you trend
sana.
Azini imetrend. Sasa nitakataje hii story ni real? Na kama ni real na umeniambia ni doubt kila kitu, nitaipataje sasa? What are we left with? Think about that. You're going to give us the answer to that. Now, let's move on to languages. Easy apps ziukwanga na kizungu mingi. Kizungu mingi, right? So hata kama msee ako na propaganda, if right now you whip out your phone and you tweet, I hate Kikuyus,
kuna results hapo.
Chances are that tweet will be flagged. Right? But if I tweet that in Swahili, how will Twitter get it? If I tweet that in Ki Somali, how will Twitter read that? We've seen it in Ethiopia with the war that's happening, where we've also seen it in places like Nigeria, where there's massive propaganda.
Even
we've
in
seen
Ukraine.
with the Biafran story. I'm sure you've seen that.
I've seen that,
if you also look at insides of like Mozambique, there's so much propaganda being translated. Guys, I know it's actually propaganda, but I like saying propaganda. Your propaganda maze, mtu akiandika na Kiluya, hapa itaget.
Yeah, it's true.
So how do we counter this? And what are these apps doing to stop this? Because what are translate na Kiluya?
Of course that awataweza. And sometimes of course unaona hapa imeandikwa C translation to that. But I think that's something maybe it's work in progress that they need to sort of work on.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, I think it just comes down to the person. Yeah, because ukiandika kwa Kiswahili ama uandike in Luya, when you watapika and they'll run with it. I think with the apps right now, it's just something that they're still trying to work on. For instance, Meta or TikTok or whatever. Yeah. It's work in progress as is right now. Yeah.
My final question is, ukiangalia wa Kenya bana vile tunaongea kwa social media, are we verifying information ama tumedoze tu? Unaona tuna interactaje na hii information? Are we making progress? Are we questioning the source of these facts ama opinions?
I think we're trying.
We're trying.
We're trying.
We're not like other countries.
Fathia is nice.
We're trying.
Fathia is nice.
We're humble.
We're trying kidogo, but again, I think Neo, ukiona controversy, you want to pick it and you run with it, especially on Twitter. Kenyans on Twitter. Yeah. A lot of the times is you don't want to verify. You just believe that story and you run with it. You also want to retweet. You want to put in your comments in it. So you don't really think twice about verifying that information.
Now let's talk about, you've mentioned one aspect of how that can really damage someone's lives. When lives are lost because umeeneza injili ama umeenda umeambia watu ati watu wamekuja kutumaliza, alafu sasa watu wameenda wamewamaliza, right? And then unakuja kufind out your story ni fake. Now there are people's lives that have been really damaged by fake news.
Yes.
Mtu akidecide sasa kuamka aseme ati wewe ni unakuanga tuseme for mungiki,
for example,
right? Alafu sasa ama kama tuseme ile ya ule dem mwenye alitonga picha na Rao. Ule mwenye alitonga picha na Rao. Ule mwenye tulinterview alitonga tu picha na Rao in TV Zanzibar. The next thing anaambiwa ati sijui politics, ameingia mambo ya politics. Her life was ruined by that one photo. So I think there's also a responsibility kwa wewe ambaye mwenye umepata hiyo information, umedecide kurun nayo. Even top celebrities, we've seen pali you are being dragged that sijui umefanya nini, and then you come, by the time the person you come to verify that this information ilikuwa fake, the damage has already been done.
A lot of the time.
Yeah, the damage has already been done. There are children whose lives are being ruined by these trends where you just decide to start payukaing, umeretweet kitu yenye umeona na hauja confirm kama huyu mtu mwenye ametweet kitu ama huyu mtu mwenye ameposti kitu ama mtu ameweka hapo TikTok kama ni ukweli. So tuko na responsibility kubwa sana kama wa Kenya ku verify information. WhatsApp acha niseme na lugha yenye mtelewa. WhatsApp. Mama nani, auntie nani, baba nani, brother, sister. Umepata message hapo hata kabla haujasoma ushashtuka. Alafu hata kabla hauja butua haijamaliza kukupiga, hata kabla hiyo kichapo ya butua haijamalizika ushaforward. Ushaforward. So by the time hiyo impact, nataka ufikirie kama hii information ni fake na inaweza cost life ya mtu. Ungeshare hiyo information?
Babylon must have forget blast away.
Modern Vibes, where you are the MVP.